Roll camera. Mics up. And action.
Live from Australia, streaming around the world. The most cinematic podcast of your week awaits. This is Bottomless Popcorn with your host, Morgan Brown.
Hello, I'm Morgan, and this is another episode of Bottomless Popcorn. Thank you for tuning in again this week. On this week's episode, we have a friend of mine who I met when I was working at the cinema in my teenage years in the early 2010s. He and I became quite good friends when we worked together at this cinema. And ended up seeing quite a lot of movies together over our time working together and beyond. So I'm really excited to hear what his 4 favorite films are. So we'll go straight into his episode. This is Josh Treadwell.
Hi, I'm Josh, and the last movie I watched was Suicide Squad.
The 2021 version?
Yeah, man.
Okay,
Most
good.
recent.
Nice one. You enjoyed it?
It was all right. Margot Robbie's obviously always good to watch, so can't bash anything John Cena's in either.
Of course, because you just can't see him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's impossible. Josh, I was going to talk a little bit before we start about how you and I know each other. So for those listening or watching, Josh and I met as teenagers. We both got casual jobs at the same cinema at the same time, part of the opening crew of that theatre.
Oh, geez.
And we one of the perks from that theatre was very cheap movie tickets. So in the 2010s, we watched a lot of movies, and a lot of movies more than once too, which was something quite unique about working at a cinema. We kind of spent a lot of free time there when we weren't working as well.
Man, that's the thing about it too. Like, it almost we spent so much time that it almost ruined the movies for you. Like, you couldn't. It didn't become as special anymore, I reckon. But then it also did, like, the flip side of it too. I guess it was because, like, sort of had like a personal attachment to it as well. So I guess it did, but yeah, I think the novelty of going somewhere else and watching a movie, it became like a rivalry thing, as well as, I just think the novelty wore off a little bit.
Very good. And there's a lot of movies that you and I would go and watch over and over and over and over and over again, just because it cost nothing really to go to this. Yeah,
it cost $2.
Also, we got to go to quite a few like special screenings and preview ones and stuff like that, which was always cool. Do you remember we went and saw the In-Betweeners 2 premiere down in Sydney?
Yes, I do. I remember that night very well, because I think that was the night we meet the cast as well on.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, I
really
thought we
cool.
did. But yeah, I think one of your biggest pet hates, I guess, going to a movie was always having to sit next to a random.
Hate it.
And
it's a condition.
And it was definitely at that premiere actually was when it came to light the most. So much so that Morgs, it was a bit of a running joke was to try and make Morgs sit next to a random, and Morgs definitely always tried to make sure he didn't have to. But this one in particular, I remember it most because Morgs, basically, we got into our seats, we'd stitched him up, and it was only because I was absolutely hanging for a wee that Morgs seized his opportunity, and absolutely, he got me good. We went to the toilet, and as he zipped and flew out, it's more like a Roadrunner, really. Just a silhouette was left, I think. And
just a smoke cloud behind me.
Oh man, by the time I'd gotten back up to where we were seating, there was a Morgan Brown, a big smile across his face looking back at me. So needless to say, I was the one that ended up having to sit next to the stranger, but it didn't bother me.
I love watching movies with like a really big crowd. Like, I really enjoy that. I think it's the best way to see it, but I just don't like it if I'm the one that has to sit next to a stranger. And I feel like, given the current times we're into, I might not be the only person that feels that way.
Yeah.
So
1.5 meters.
Yeah, exactly. Please, at all times. Josh, we're going to go to the movies, and we're going to watch we're going to watch one of your 4 favorite movies, but we're going to trailer the 3 of them before the main feature. But before we go and sit down in the theater, we're going to take a quick stop at the candy bar to pick up some snacks and refreshments. What are you getting from the candy bar?
You know what I'm getting. Salted caramel choc top. I'm not getting a popcorn because I know you'll get one and you won't finish it, so I'll be able to finish it. And yeah, probably just like a large Mountain Dew or something.
Very good. And I've had a few of these I've done now, and some people have said some very bizarre things that they have mixed and dipped in their popcorn.
Oh.
How do you feel about dipping a choc top into the popcorn?
Oh man, yeah, I don't know about that.
That doesn't go. It doesn't go, does it?
That's because you're mixing hot and cold, I suppose. That's weird.
You are.
But at the same time, like one of the boys we used to work with as well used to mix anything with anything. Well, Doritos and custard was one of his favorite things. So, yeah. I mean, the choc top and popcorn doesn't sound too bad compared to that.
He did. What was the other one he did? He used to make chocolate popcorn and stuff, right? He used to get the choc top, the melted chocolate, and put a little bit of popcorn in a bag and put it in the freezer. Did you?
I feel like there was like mince and something as well. Like,
oh yeah, he did have a. Yeah, what was that?
It was mince and something.
Probably custard or something too.
Yeah, no, it was custard Dorito. I don't know, but but I just been at the movies. I reckon
Jack Quinn, if you're listening, we're 1,000% talking about you.
Far out.
Horrible. That's a horrible combination. It doesn't even sound appealing.
Oh man.
And I think it was a mistake. Like I think he got it once because I think like in my head what happened was he was in the chips aisle and someone had got an item from the long life, like the dairy stuff. And they're like, oh, I actually don't want custard. And they just put it back, but it was where the salsas were stacked. Yeah. And he was like, oh, what salsa do I get? Oh, that one looks nice. And he took the custard that someone put back previously that was just in the wrong location. He's like, oh, good combination.
That absolutely would happen with him too. There's
yes. 1,000% that's what happened. Josh, do you remember the very first movie you ever saw at the movies?
I do actually. A bit of a classic for, I suppose, our generation as well, but it was Toy Story. I think I think it came out the year I was born.
So I've done this a couple of times, and a lot of people think this too, and I guarantee you it didn't, because Toy Story, the first one, it might have been Toy Story 2, but Toy Story came out in like 1990. I should know this because I've had this like 3 times. It came out in 1995.
Yeah, so I was. Yeah, okay, that probably doesn't make sense then because I was born October 95.
So Toy Story 2 came out in 99. So it could have been that, or it could have been a rerun at some point in the 90s. A lot of those movies did get re-released theatrically for
there's no way like a 2-3 month year old me remembered that. So yeah, I reckon it's probably Toy Story 2. I reckon it's probably Toy Story 2.
That's good. And what a first film to see at the movies. An absolute classic from Pixar.
Right in the heart, right in the feels.
So what is a movie that you remember seeing more for the experience? So you remember the experience of seeing the movie more than the actual movie you saw?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think it was I reckon it was probably the first time we went to Darling Harbour. What was that called? What's the big movie called?
Oh, the IMAX.
IMAX,
the IMAX theater. Yeah.
I think you took me for the first time I'd ever been to the IMAX. I can't. What was it? Spider-Man?
Oh yeah, maybe we saw like Amazing Spider-Man or something like that there.
Oh no, I think it was I think it was only tailored because of this question, but I think we saw it was a shit Transformers movie. It was something.
Oh, the first Mark Wahlberg one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That stands out most. That stands out the most, and Interstellar.
Yes.
When we made the trip, the 2-hour trip from Newcastle
down to see it in IMAX. So worth it.
Absolutely worth it.
That is, if you can see a movie, if it's made in or shot in IMAX and you have the ability to see it that way, that is 1,000% the way you should see the movie, because that is unreal.
I just remember walking out of that and just being so confused.
Yes. But so impressed.
And then jumping on Facebook and seeing all these people that would I'm not even convinced they got like a plus 40 in their ATARs trying to explain like shoestring theory and like all this physics stuff.
How black holes work.
Oh man, it's like when you watch people like watch the UFC, like everyone becomes an expert on the day.
Day of, 100%. I agree. If movies are based on books, novels, comic books, and stuff, do you seek out those resources first, or are you not that interested? You just prefer to see the films?
Oh man, you know me. There's no way I'm sitting down to read a book. I'm gonna answer my pants, man. Nah, definitely just the movie. I'm very hands-on person. Like I need it visually in front of me. I can't
Sure.
sit down and read.
To your first trailer ahead of the feature film today, and it's the film The Greatest Showman.
Yeah, it is a bit of an interesting one, really. I think going back to what we were saying before, like where there was movies you and I would see a lot. I just remember us watching it. I think we watched it with my family actually.
We did too.
At the movies.
Just also because of working at the movies, we would, and it didn't cost. It cost $2. Like you would watch a lot of things you probably otherwise wouldn't.
You just watch anything.
Yeah,
you'd watch it on shift.
This was one of them. This was like a day where we had been on during the day, and we went to an evening session because I can remember this as well.
Yeah, I think my family were going into the nighttime session. You and I have never really had much interest in musicals or anything, but like you said, the perks of working there, we decided we'd have a squiz, and I just remember distinctly you and I walking out being like,
it was actually very good.
Yeah, we were just like, we hated that we liked it so much, and
honestly, thinking about like if someone asked me what my favorite musical was, I would probably say that, because I don't think I've seen enough others. I don't think the animated Disney ones are like musicals. This is, and I remember being quite surprised because I genuinely didn't think I would enjoy this, but you're absolutely right. It was great.
I think too. Like I remember you saying to me, like, because we were trying to put our finger on it, why we liked it so much. I just remember you saying to me, it was like old time setting, but like current pop, like more modern music.
Yeah,
and it just blended really well together. So I remember you saying that, and I've been like, yeah, you're right. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and I read somewhere after seeing it too, that the reason it's like that is because the character in the movie that Hugh Jackman plays is supposed to be ahead of his time. So rather than go like for classic musical style numbers, that's why it's pop songs, because he's always a couple of steps ahead of what's to come. So when he's starting the circus and entertainment, like it probably would have been of the time sounding music, but they were like, well, we can make it really more current and a bit more poppy if we make it more like pop songs and stuff, which is what they do. And I think it works. And at the time it definitely went over my head, but it's absolutely true. When I read it back, I was like, yeah, he is ahead of his time. And that is 100% why that works in the movie. I agree.
Because is it meant to be like loosely based on is it Walt Disney?
It's a true story. No, it's P.T. Barnum, who's the guy who not invented the circus, but
that's right.
Was an owner or an operator of a very successful and well-known circus in America. I looked up a couple of little trivia bits on the film for you that I thought you might be interested to see.
Oh man, if it involves Zendaya, I'm down.
Oh, I should have got one because I think there was one. The movie took 9 years to develop, from its original conception to completion, and it was due to Fox Studios, who was going to be financing and producing the film at the time. They were pretty unwilling to take a risk on a musical that didn't have a previously established story or music to already go with it. They really didn't think. at the time, musicals weren't the flavor of the month, and so investing that time and energy and money into an original one seemed like a pretty big gamble. The director of the movie is a man called Michael Gracie, and this is his feature film directorial debut. So for a first film, the guy went absolutely crazy and knocked it out the park, because this is great. And then this is pretty cool. I don't know if you remember the ending, or even at the beginning when the title cards come up, they all have a border around them. Do you remember this when you watched it?
I think I know what you're talking about. It was like a little golden.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So when the film was being completed in post-production, so this, as I was saying, was Michael Gracie's first film. He was becoming a little bit overwhelmed by like the deadline to have to hand the film over.
Yeah.
And they brought in another man for a week by the name of James Mangold, and he had directed Hugh Jackman in 3 previous films. 2 of them was The Wolverine and Logan. And he doesn't get a directorial credit on the film, but he gets an executive producer credit on the film. And for his gold borders, if you look really closely, it's 2 arms that are crossed with 3 Wolverine claws in them, which I thought was quite clever, because
how's the ego on him, but
yeah, it was really good.
What a flex.
But I didn't believe that, so I pulled it up quickly on YouTube and had a look, and it's there. That's actually the border on his one in the corners. It's like
it's 2 arms like that,
and Wolverine claws coming
out. Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty
How's
cool.
the balls on the bloke?
Indeed. I'll jump on. I got some more questions for you. What film do you think has? You can answer this 2 ways, actually. So, what film has the best soundtrack, like pop music, like radio songs, and then best original score, like orchestra music that's played throughout the film?
Man, geez, heavy questions. Yeah, look, you know me, I'm not a massive score person. I would only know like Hans Zimmer or anything you show me, really. I don't know. Am I allowed to bring up my feature film now? Because that probably is what.
If it's your feature film, then maybe we'll hold it. And just
but for the score music, it's definitely what my feature film is. But for the modern one, geez, that's a tough one. Yeah, I can't think of anything really. Nothing springs to mind like the other one, but I don't know. It's a tough one.
I'll jump on. This one you can answer 2 ways as well, I think. The best looking film. So that can be the way the camera is moving in the film, or everything within the frame. So like the costumes, the sets, the locations, all that kind of stuff. What do you think is the best looking film?
Oh, God. Yeah, geez. In terms of, I'd have to say Greatest Showman again, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the way that was filmed, and just all the costumes, and I just thought it was pretty unreal. And I think you're just blown away by it all, really. I think that was an experience you and I weren't expecting to have.
Yeah, for sure. That is I agree, that is a really good looking film, both in terms of like its camera moves and everything within the frame as well. Switch it to the opposite end of that spectrum. What's the saddest movie you've ever seen?
Jeez. Trying to think. Did we ever cry in the movies together? I'm sure we did.
I don't think we did.
Just me. Saddest movie.
Oh, no, I have. But I don't know if we saw it together, and it's the movie.
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah. It's, well, twice then, maybe. The first one was a movie called Lion, and another one was a movie called Instant Family. Both really good movies.
The Instant Family was the one I was thinking of.
Yes. But what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, look, I'd hate to admit it, but I think what was that one with the main actor from Baby Driver? It was The Fault in Our Stars.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing that, and just the twist in the end, I suppose, just absolutely got me out of nowhere, and I don't know, got me.
Yeah, okay. What about the I Know for a fact you don't like these. So what's the scariest film you've ever seen?
Oh man, there's not many, hey, because I refuse to watch them. I remember we did the movies and like that when we were working and a scary movie had come in and like you used to have to do like regular routine checks. Like you have to go in like half an hour after it started and half an hour before it finished, roughly about halfway through it. And if it was a scary movie or anything like that, there was absolutely no way I was going in. Yeah. But man, in terms of a scary movie that I've actually sat through, I'd probably have to say It.
Yeah.
And I have so many people who just come back, man, that shit's not even scary, but yeah, I couldn't do it, eh?
Yeah. No, I agree. At the time when we were there, I did stick away from horror films or scary films, but I've done a few of these now, and a couple of people have I don't know if the episode will come before or after yours, so I won't say what it is, but a few people have said the same film, and I still haven't brought myself to do it, but I'm getting there. I might watch it. And that's big for me because I really don't seek out those kind of.
No, I know you don't like them either.
But I have this appreciation for them where I kind of watch them through the eyes of like, oh, this is clever. Like technically I understand how they're creating this like this feeling of like scaredness or tension and stuff like that. And I try to like as a coping mechanism try to like identify that to myself so that I can try and feel ahead of it kind of thing. So I'll be like, oh, interesting, all the sounds getting very quiet, so I assume something's about to
something's about to jump
out of nowhere. So
and I sit there like this or like with a jumper or nah, man. I can't do it.
Not for me, not yet anyway. I think I'll get to it soon, but at the minute I don't seek them out at this point.
You definitely don't.
Has a film ever made you mad? Like something happens in the movie is like unjust or just the people in it are just, it's just so unrealistic and it makes you mad? Or
I remember it's a funny one to get angry at, but Django.
Okay. Yeah.
I just remember like how many times the N-word got said, or like I don't know, just the whole slave thing, and it just I don't know.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know, it makes you feel, I guess because you're not used to it, I suppose, but yeah, I distinctly remember just feeling angry, like, mad, I suppose, and just being like, how is this happening? Like, how did this happen?
Yeah, that's
type of thing.
And but I think a film like that too, like, and a Quentin Tarantino film where it kind of puts a nice little twist on history at the end is always really cool and like uplifting and powerful. I think to see it at a film like that where it's like, because he's done it with other things too, like Inglourious Bastards, and then more recently in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, these really horrible things happen, and then the end of the film has this slight twist in history that is like, I think that's what we all wish had happened.
Absolutely.
It made it a nicer place for everyone. Apart from the fact that generally what gets it that way is super, super violent.
Well, that's it too.
Yeah. We'll move on again. We'll go to your second trailer now. And this is for the movie Lawless.
Forrest Bondurant, seems you've been involved in certain illegal activities.
Illegal activities, huh?
Look here, Forrest. You play ball with us, we can make this here summons disappear.
You trying to shake me down, Henry?
I'm just a messenger here, Forrest.
Have you met Howard?
Oh, what you gonna shoot me, huh? Howard! Howard! Huh? You gonna hurt my brother? Huh? You trying to intimidate us, Sheriff? Huh?
Absolute banger. I love that movie. Hey,
It's really good.
I don't know. I can't put my finger on why, but I don't know. I just thought it was awesome. Just like the three Bondurant brothers, like two of them were heaps hard nosed, and
Yeah.
they were almost like gangsters in a way. And I don't know, it was just set in like bootlegging time, and I don't know, I just thought it was a really, really cool movie, really well done. Told a really cool story.
Worked for you.
Yeah,
But
I just
three, like, or not just the brothers, but like everyone in it has a really great performance too.
Oh yeah,
Shia
and it was a
LaBeouf, Tom
star.
Hardy,
Yeah,
Jason Clarke. Who else you got? There's Mia Wasikowska, Gary Oldman, Guy Pearce.
yeah, it was star-studded. It was,
Yeah.
and I don't remember any, and like, because we worked at the movies, right? So like, but I just do not remember at the time there being even a heap of hype about it.
No, it was just kind of one of those ones that came along and had like a steady little crowd and just did its thing. But it's always one that I see seems to be pretty regularly on at least one streaming service. Like it's always around,
Yeah,
which I think is good because obviously it means people are still watching it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be as frequently appearing on those.
well, that's it. Like
services.
even I checked before doing this with you. Like, it's still on Netflix and stuff. So
Yeah,
go and watch it. That's a really sick movie.
it's really good. This movie was like greenlit to be made and then fell through with an entirely different cast under an entirely different name at one point. So it was originally called The Wettest Country in the World.
Because that's the
And then-
book, I think.
Yes, it is. And then it fell through, but it had James Franco, Ryan Gosling, Scarlett Johansson, Michael Shannon, and Shia LaBeouf is the only remaining person of that original cast that stuck with it for the film that come through.
Jeez, I
which is
wouldn't have
great.
minded that either.
Yeah, I know. It's some pretty great names as well in the original version. Shia LaBeouf carried on a fair bit when they were making this movie too. I remember hearing about when it came out, but apparently drank actual moonshine to try and get drunk. And
Man,
be
isn't
on
he the
camera.
strangest man in Hollywood? Hey, like, yeah. I was gonna say, can you imagine meeting him? But I know you have.
Yes, he was cool when I met him. He was a nice guy. And to be fair, I didn't really meet him. I just got a picture with him.
Yeah, I mean, still, but you could tell his energy. Like, he's a strange dude.
Yeah. But yeah, he just, and it really, like, I don't know, he was kind of at this point in time, I don't think he was kind of at that point yet either. This came out in 2012, so he's just come off of doing like the Transformers movies, and he hasn't really started making a lot more obscure titles yet.
Because when did he do Disturbia? Was it Disturbia? No, Disturbed.
2007.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And then I think he finishes Transformers in 2011 or 2012. And then what does he do after this? He does like Lawless and Fury, I think, are the two immediate ones that follow this.
Oh, that's another great movie.
Yeah. But yeah, just a really good movie, just set in a really kind of bleak time in America where where alcohol is just outlawed.
And it looked like too, like when they filmed it, like it looked like it was in a place where absolutely nothing was happening, but everything was happening at the same time. I think that's like the chaos of that movie that I like the most. It's like the location just looks like there's absolutely nothing doing, but the movie just kicks it out of the park. Really, just everything's going on.
No, it's a really good movie. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out. For my boy Shia LaBeouf alone, if you need any reason. Tom Hardy had also that character. I think is supposed to be a lot smaller.
Oh,
he's in the middle of getting bigger, or he's either just come off doing Bane, so he's either getting big or he's still too big and hasn't come down in time for what that production needed. But
yeah, and I think and at times you could see, like, especially with the costumes and stuff, they tried to hide it. Like because I think back then too, like there's no gyms or anything, there's no protein and stuff around. Like people aren't lifting weights, so I think a lot of the clothing and stuff he'd wear were like these like knitted jumpers or like loosely fitting baggy sort of clothes, so that he didn't look, because he was obviously getting big for Bane or whatever he was doing. But yeah, I think they realized that as well and tried to do their best to cover it up. But like you can also see how hard they tried, and sometimes it just didn't come off right. And
yeah,
he just is massive.
For sure. He's a big man. All right, let's jump on a couple more questions before we get into your next trailer.
Yep.
Has a film ever had an impact on you or left a lasting impression?
Oh, yeah, I think Life of Pi.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. It's just something about like that never give up, do or die attitude. Like
Okay.
I don't know. Sometimes it's in your day-to-day life, or you're going through something. Like sometimes I just look back at that and see how he like survived on a boat and with the animal. I know it's in the end, it's sort of that isn't the case, but it's sort of left up in the air, really, isn't it? But
It's up to you to decide, isn't it?
yeah.
It's well, this has been out for a while, so you can spoil that twist. I've seen this, but I can't remember it. I do know there's a twist, but is the twist that like he either didn't have the tiger or the tiger was something else that he
The tiger was meant to represent him, I think.
right.
But I think so. What it was there was like the tiger, the gazelle, the hyena, and himself, and they were on the boat, and basically he had to draw strength from the animals and try and.
Sure.
But I think in the end, the twist was they actually represented real people, didn't they? Because there was like him and his mother or something, and then
because it's a rescue boat, right?
Yeah, but like the injured gazelle's like his mum or like a cook or something, and then the hyena was just like this bloke that just wanted to eat. Yeah, they all represented someone, and and I'm pretty sure he was meant to represent the tiger. But going back to your original question, I know we've drifted here, but that movie just the way he sort of had to draw his strength from and survive the situation he was in. I don't know, just something about it.
Worked very good. Do you take notice or watch or read like films that are winning awards or nominated for awards and getting good reviews? Do you take notice of that? And do you think that's a good indication of the films that you tend to like?
I mean, you know me, I'm not a cinema geek like you are, but look, I think definitely you're always hyper aware of the Academy Award winning ones, or is it a draw for me to go and see that movie because of that? Yeah, I'd say so. I don't think naturally anything that you get suggested that is of high quality or being given those sort of accolades, like you're gonna want to go see it. So yeah, I would say yes.
I think you're definitely aware of like the ones that are winning awards because I think they start to include it in the marketing.
Absolutely.
At a certain point too. But I don't really look at reviews. I think with reviews, if I'll watch it and then after I've seen it, I'll look up the reviews and just to see if I don't know if people had the same opinion as me or where we differed on it. But I don't seek them out before.
I mean, most of the time I used to see a movie anyway. I'd have a review of it by you before I'd even knew what the movie was coming out.
Is there a movie you've seen and you really loved it, but you've come to watch it again another time and you're a bit, no, actually, that's not as good as I don't remember that being as good as I thought.
You're gonna hate this answer. Tenet.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that for the first time. Thought it was unreal. Thought it was sick. Saw it again. And I just went,
what?
Not for me. Not for me at all. I wouldn't rush back to see this again.
Okay. It just didn't operate. I think just for that film, I will say that especially the climate we're in at the minute too, where everyone's at home, and that's predominantly how a lot of us have been watching movies the last 2 years. That is one that benefits from being seen at the cinema.
Oh, absolutely.
Where you have no distraction around. Because if you watch that at home, because I know I do this, if I watch something at home, my phone is beside me and it's not the cinema, so I'm not going to piss anyone else off by using my phone or mucking around. And that one kind of must be watched in a
you got to focus. You got to understand what's happening. You've really got. I like. Don't get me wrong. That movie had some really cool, like at the end, like that really cool thing about the kid.
Yes.
But try not to give away spoilers, but you know what I'm talking about. But yes. It was a really cool movie. It's the brain power that had to go into it. I just was like, this is not for me.
Yeah, it's definitely one that requires a fair bit of attention to follow it, I think.
Oh, man, something else.
What movie surprised you the most? You went in with kind of no expectation, but came out being, I'm actually really glad I saw that. I know we were talking kind of The Greatest Showman was a bit like that, but is there anything else?
Oh, I'm honestly trying to think of movies that we've just gone and seen, really.
Yeah.
Hacksaw Ridge, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I knew going into it, it was going to be a sick movie, but I think it was more just like I think like when you see Vince Vaughn as the drill sergeant, that was definitely a what is going on moment, like trying to see him in a serious role. But no, I just thought that one was really well done, and like I obviously knew it was coming in as a highly touted one, but yeah, I just remember walking out of it being like, yeah, wow, that was actually a pretty sick experience, and just was really cool.
Okay. What about it? What's a film that you've seen and you really liked it, but just seeing it the once was enough? Like you don't feel a need to have to come back and watch this again?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'll probably have to say Silver Linings Playbook.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper, Jennifer Lawrence one.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah, it was an awesome movie. Like I loved it, but I just went, yeah, that's it. Like,
yeah, just need to see that the once. That's fine.
Yeah, it is what it is. Like sick story, sick cast.
Yeah.
Didn't need to see it again.
I've one more question before you jump onto your next trailer. Do you watch documentary, like film feature documentaries? Do you have a favorite of those?
Oh god, as far as documentary, it probably anything to do with sport, really.
What was that called?
Untold: Malice at the Palace. It was just about one of the biggest fights in NBA history.
That's pretty recent, isn't it?
Yeah, it probably only came out. Oh god, yeah, a couple months ago.
All right, let's move on to your third and final trailer. This one is Avengers Endgame.
Tony, what's going on? Tell me you found that cube. Oh, you gotta be shitting me. I have eyes on Loki, 14th floor. I'm not Loki. And I don't want to hurt you. I can do this all day.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, pretty generic answer this one, I think, when you ask for the four. But
surprisingly, this is not. You're the 7th or the 8th recording of these now.
Yeah,
and this hasn't come up yet. So it actually.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think you and I have discussed this as well, but it's sort of like the whole series, the whole Avengers series is like our modern or our generation's version of Star Wars, or those really critically acclaimed sort of series. So yeah, I think for me that was just the perfect ending to our generation.
20-something movies.
Yeah, like it was just our. I don't know. I think that was probably why it was a bit more special, I suppose, to myself. It's
one we kind of saw all of them at. Well, I think the first Marvel one we had at the cinema we worked at was Thor, so we missed the first two Iron Mans. I don't know if you saw about the movies or not, but it's pretty cool to see them all come through and just see those crowds come back.
Was the first one we had Thor? Wasn't the first one we had Captain America, the first Avenger?
Nope, Thor was the first one we had.
Yeah, I wasn't good at my job there, so
yeah. But yeah, just that I agree. Like my parents weren't into Star Wars, so that wasn't something that got passed on.
Because you don't like Lord of the Rings either.
Me. I haven't seen them, mate.
Oh man, like something wrong with you.
Someone will bring it up on here one day, and then I might consider it. But at this point in time, I've not seen them. But yeah, like parents just weren't into it, so they weren't one that got passed on to me. But then seeing the way like they're kind of cultural phenomenons, these ones that have just come out. So like, I really do think that, I don't know, like Disney owns Star Wars and the Marvel properties, so they will both likely live on and continue to be passed on. But I do think that for people our age, like maybe 80s, 90s, and 2000s, I would imagine are probably more likely to pass these on to their
absolutely, next generation, absolutely. I agree.
I think they'll last. They're huge. They're absolutely massive. And I remember, this is one I can remember seeing at the movies, not at like a midnight showing or anything like that, just at a absolutely packed session pretty early in its release, maybe on the first or the second day. And like just the reactions to some of the things that happen in this movie were incredible, like just huge. And Australia, like, well, I guess with these it started to happen more, like the crowds do seem to get vocal and a bit clap and stuff in them, which doesn't really happen in Australia. Yeah, and then as these went on, it started to become a bit more prominent. And this time I remember watching this one and people were like cheering and stuff in the crowd when certain things would happen, and just like being absolutely blown away. Like there's this, that's the spoiler, but it's been out for a bit now, but the Thor's looking like it's not too good for him, and then that hammer starts to rise, which is then revealed to be that it was thrown by
Steve
Captain
Rogers.
America. Yeah, which is a payoff from a joke set up like 10
First
movies previous. Like, it's just
that's from the blue. Is it the bloopers or something where he great?
No, it's in the movie. It's the
because they're all trying to move the hammer.
Avengers. Yeah.
And no one can do it. Like Hulk's in full Hulk form can't do it. No, Eric Banner, he pretends to do it. Not Eric Banner. Dr. Banner pretends to turn into the Hulk to do it. Can't do it. Then Iron Man gets like the suit arm on. Can't do it. Then Captain America touches it and it moves ever so slightly. Yeah. That's the joke. Yeah.
And then the payoff in this final film is that he was worthy and could do it, which I think was fantastic.
Yeah.
This movie and Avengers Infinity War, the Avengers film that preceded it, was released a year apart, but they were shot back to back over a period of 200 days. Josh, can you imagine if Infinity War came out in 2019 and Avengers Endgame was supposed to come out in 2020?
Don't do that to me.
Rather not, right?
Do not do that to me.
That'd be horrible. I don't think we would have seen it by yet. There's no way.
Nah, we'd still be hanging out for it.
Absolutely. This is the Endgame is the final Stan Lee cameo in a Marvel film. He passed away in 2019, I'm pretty sure. So I think he was around for Infinity War, but he didn't make it to Endgame. But it is his final cameo, which I thought was quite cool.
I did always love that he put himself in his movies.
Oh, it's great.
It's always a cool thing to look out for.
That was another part of also all of these, where when that cameo would occur, that would be a part that would usually send the crowds
wild.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. There's a scene in this where it's the scene where they pick up Hulk. Not Hulk, they go to pick up Thor in New Asgard, and the reveal is that he's become quite large. But there is a joke. Korg is playing PlayStation or something on the lounge behind him.
I know where this is going.
And they start to talk to a man who they're playing online, who's called Noobmaster69. The directors of the film revealed on their Twitter that Noobmaster69 is actually Wong from Doctor Strange.
That's like his gamer tag.
How good is that? Yes.
Man, Noobmaster, that will do me.
Fantastic. An excellent movie. A really good movie. That is it was, and now I think it's been knocked off again. But that was for a time the most financially successful film.
Yeah, because it blew out box office weekend budget or something, 200 and something billion.
Yeah, I think it earned back its production.
Crazy. Can you imagine paying that cast too?
Yeah, huge. In the Josh Treadwell biopic, who plays Josh Treadwell?
Jeez, you'd have to think it'd be someone handsome, hey? I'm thinking.
No.
I'm thinking like a Matthew McConaughey. I'm thinking a Bradley Cooper.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just sending him a DM on Instagram asking if they're available.
they would be big
Sure,
role
for this. They'll make time for
You
this.
probably haven't heard of them, but that would be a breakthrough role for them.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have a favorite quote from a movie?
Oh, usually I can quote anything, but you put me on the spot here.
I honestly thought it would have been something from Step Brothers, and I thought it would have been off the top of your head.
No, I honestly I can't get School of Rock out of my head now.
Okay.
And I don't know why, but it's that
You're a fat loser and you have body odor.
I can't be in a bad. I'm not cool enough.
It's a really good movie. I think I watched that maybe 3 or 4 months ago now, but yeah.
I've realized there's another movie that I think is just as quotable as that movie.
Sure.
The Longest Yard.
Yeah, with Adam Sandler. Yeah.
I think.
But you know that's a remake of a.
Yeah. So
and Burt Reynolds was in the original as well.
So he plays Paul Crewe in the original. Yeah. So yeah, anything from those two movies really would be my answer to your question.
I can remember. I didn't see that at the movies, The Longest Yard, but I remember that was one rented on DVD from Blockbuster on like a Friday night. Watched at home with like mum, dad, and my sister when I was younger, and I just have this image of us all like losing it at the I think he made him shoot himself joke. Like it just cuts around to everyone in that stadium.
The whole stadium, yeah.
But yeah, like that is, they're really quotable films. I agree. Who is your favorite character from a movie ever?
I think you'd agree with this. Taika Waititi as Adolf Hitler imaginary Adolf Hitler in Jojo Rabbit.
That is a really good.
Hands down. And or him or another Taika Waititi character. As you mentioned before, Korg. Anything that has the New Zealand accent, the Māori accent, just sends me.
Yeah, it's great, and he's terrific in everything that he's into. But no, he's terrific. Do you have a favorite filmmaker? Someone's making a film, you don't care what it is, you're going to see it because they've made it.
Geez, I want to say Morgan Brown.
They are good.
Just for some context there, Morgs used to make, as a creative outlet, I think, used to make little trailers with all the staff for big and upcoming movies. I think I featured in 2 of them, maybe. I was Thor in one, and I was Kylo Ren in another, but I think Kylo Ren ended up being played by about 3 or 4 other people because some of the staff members would get bored of Morgan's filming extravaganzas, and it would you'd lose cast members and they'd have to be replaced.
It's always terrific if they had a mask on. It was much easier. What film has the best ending?
Geez, you'd like to say Titanic here, wouldn't you? No, God no. Best ending, like a jaw dropping.
Well, that's so. In the few I've done, that has to me, when I think of endings, I actually think about like ones with twist endings and stuff. So I thought that's what most people would say, but it has been fairly mixed. A lot of people have surprised me with what they've said on these ones.
Yeah. Okay. Oh man, I don't know. Hey, trying to think of stuff that's coming to mind. I can't think of anything. Nothing that jumps out at me. Mm-hmm. What's been your most common answer? Or what's been the biggest answer that you've had?
Well, they have all been different, but I think just ones that have like some sort of twist in the ending just before the credits start has been a popular theme among my favorite endings. Films like, no one's actually said this particular film, but it is one that I thought would have come up sooner. But have you seen The Usual Suspects?
No, I don't think I have.
Okay, I won't ruin that one for you then.
Tell me how that one is. Actually, it's funny that you're asking questions about how films end, because your biggest thing was, right, you'd always go and see a film, and before anyone else had a chance to see it, you'd already told them what part was coming up, or I'd always known that you'd seen a movie before I had, even though you'd claimed that it was the first time you were seeing it, because something something was about to happen, and I could look over, and there was just these absolute pair of eyes burning a hole in the side of my head because he knew something was coming, but didn't want to tell anyone that he'd already seen it.
I can neither confirm nor deny if I saw movies ahead of
You
their release
lie.
date.
You absolutely.
I cannot. All right, Josh, I have come to time. It's come the time for your number one favorite movie, and it is The Dark Knight Rises.
Why are you here?
Answer him.
I was asking you.
It's the police commissioner.
And you brought him down here.
We didn't know what to do. We just
You
thought
panicked. And your weakness has cost the lives of 3 others.
No, he's alone.
Search him, then I will kill you.
he's dead.
So show me his body.
The water runs to any one of the outflows. We'll never find him.
Follow him.
Follow him.
Yeah, look, another one that I remember actually going back to the question before when you said one you weren't expecting to be good, but yeah, was that a question you had? Definitely this movie. And this again was definitely one that you and I went and saw multiple times. I reckon you and I have sat there on YouTube and watched the opening to that movie.
Plane heist, yeah.
Oh man, so many times. I think we've even sat in your lounge room and watched that. Like,
Yeah. I used to time my cinema checks to
I know you
be
did.
up there for this
Man, I remember
scene.
we'd be
It's
able
so
to
cool.
for certain movies. You'd be like, yeah, you need to make sure you can hear it this time every time it
Yeah.
starts, so you can see it from start to finish.
Terrific. No, it's great. It's so well done. It's done for real. We weren't open in time. Not in time. We were nowhere near it. We weren't open for the Dark Knight, which I think has the greatest opening, which is the bank heist.
Oh, the bank heist.
Where they're all in pairs, and as each person's unique skill or ability is utilized, they take out that person. So they just keep reducing the amount of cuts in the
absolutely.
in the money. It's just so clever.
And then
then I do think this one is really good too. Like the plane, like being hijacked and stuff is so well done.
Unreal.
I think it's terrific. Fun fact about this trilogy of Batman films is that each of the films is 12 minutes longer than the previous one. So
Exactly
Batman
12 minutes?
Batman Begins is 2 hours and 20 minutes. The Dark Knight is 2 hours 32 minutes, and The Dark Knight Rises is 2 hours 44 minutes long. So they each become 12 minutes longer progressively as the trilogy goes on. I don't know if that is like intentional, but
I was gonna say, is there a meaning behind it? Like,
I don't think so. I think it's just a very neat little piece of trivia that someone's worked out on it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, because you must be bored if you've gone through and figured that out.
Yes.
That's a lockdown fact for sure.
It definitely is. Someone's watched all of them back to back and looked at the time code on their Blu-ray, I think.
This is a Morgan Brown fact. I reckon it was you that discovered this.
What do you mean?
Oh, that's something you would go.
I didn't add this
figure
to
out.
IMDb trivia. I haven't got that approval yet on my account. I can't do it.
Not yet. Just go back to that blue tick to come through.
Yes. This film, along with the previous film, The Dark Knight, have sequences filmed in IMAX, similar to what we were talking about for Interstellar at the beginning.
Yep.
So The Dark Knight had about 28 minutes of IMAX footage, and this one has over an hour's worth of
wow.
IMAX footage. And both of these, I wish I had have seen in IMAX on an IMAX.
Because the plane heist was shot for IMAX, wasn't it? Well, not for it, but
the bank robbery, the plane
Yeah.
heist. Yeah,
I think I remember you telling me that.
and it's just to see it that way would have been absolutely
unreal.
unreal.
That would, can you imagine
that's
that?
especially the stuff with the
space?
plane in particular, like when the camera is like up in the sky and like, yeah, that would have been amazing.
Plane comes over the top of the other one. Yeah, unreal.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember this, it's just become a thing in pop culture, two of these, but that Bane voice is something that I think a lot of people have had their own like go at doing impressions.
I remember we've all tried to do it.
I remember when it came out, like the floor team using the radios and everyone talking in Bane voices to one another and stuff like that. And
I think that the most quotable one was right before they went out onto the, you know how they had the American football game.
Yes.
It goes on, and I can't remember what he says right before he goes out, but something. I just remember everyone would say whatever that line was over the. It's going to annoy me now that I can't remember it.
You'll think of it after and text me.
Oh
Put
man,
no mate, it's too late. It's recorded.
Put it in post.
But no, that film, that is also one of the best sounding films I think I've ever watched at the movies. Just absolutely like.
This is awesome.
Yes, 100%. Just chanted over and over.
Yeah. That's definitely what they say.
It is not Deshi Basa.
No, that's not what they say.
But yeah, just this film, I remember just the experience of seeing it in a theater, packed, a crowd, and just the sound just like is huge. Like it is massive. And it was just terrific. Josh, I have one more question and then one more little thing before we're done.
Sweet.
The last question is, between now and the end of the year, is there anything, well, provided we can go between now and the end of the year, is there a movie that you're really looking forward to seeing up on the big screen?
Oh man, provided we can go. I don't know if it's coming out this year or it just got announced, but the newest Spider-Man.
Yep.
Coming out this year?
I think it's Boxing Day. It
is Boxing Day, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it was sort of towards the end of this year, start of next year. Newest Spider-Man, obviously.
Yeah, no, that would be really good, I think. There's a few, we're kind of in this weird point too, because movies dates keep shifting and stuff again, because we're currently locked down and stuff at the time of recording this, so the dates are shifting on a lot of things again. But as far as I'm aware, that one's down for that Boxing Day.
Yeah, there's that Ryan Gosling movie too that just keeps getting pushed back. No, not Ryan Gosling. Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, Free Guy.
Yeah.
Yes, that has been my most anticipated movie for about 2 years.
I feel like 2 years. I feel like we've waited like 10.
Yeah,
it's been ages coming.
Absolutely, it has. Josh, the very last thing I have for you, I have used one of your top 4 movies and have trawled the depths of the internet to find a 1-star review. I've got this 1-star review and I've removed any mention of the film that it is.
Oh, so I have to guess it.
And you have to guess what it is and defend it against the 1-star review, okay?
Yeah. I reckon it's going to be easy. I reckon it's going to, anyway. Yeah. Give me the review.
Give me one sec. So the title of this review is Absolutely Dreadful. Quite possibly the worst movie I have ever seen. Certainly in the bottom 5. Incredibly boring, horrible sounds, horrible music. I wouldn't bother commenting on the plot and the dialogue. First movie in decades I've wanted to walk out of. What a complete waste of time.
I don't know why, but the music stuck out to me there. And I don't think, I originally going into that question assumed it was going to be The Greatest Showman, just because I know musicals aren't everyone's thing. But I'm just thinking back, only because I've watched Lawless recently, because I know there isn't a heap of music in it, I'm leaning towards that. Just because I know, and because the other 3, I guess, are pretty plot driven, and I don't know. But then at the same time, like, I feel like it could just be that one person that wants to hate against Endgame as well. So I'm just gonna go with my gut and say Lawless.
Lawless. Josh Treadwell, this review is for the movie The Greatest Showman.
Are you telling me that Zendaya and Zac Efron flying around on a trapeze, singing to each other about their forbidden love, didn't get more than a 1-star review?
Evidently not. Not even a 1 out of 10. Or he got 1 out of 10.
I want to leave a review on their review.
Yeah. Wake up to yourself.
I want to rewrite the stars for them.
Yeah. Very good. Josh, that's it. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I really appreciate it.
Oh, that's awesome.
A lot of fun. Hope you had a good time.
I have. It's been sick.
No, thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. We'll see you.
All right, bro. See you, man.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Bottomless Popcorn. For bonus content, news, and upcoming guests, follow us on Instagram at Bottomless Popcorn Pod. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. If you'd like to contact the show, you can email us at bottomlesspopcornpod@gmail.com. And be sure to leave a review of your own favorite film wherever you listen to podcasts.